Democratic Congressman Adam Smith. He is the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thank you so much. First off, your reaction to how this is playing with the Iranians and what they're making of this.
Well, I think it points up the difficult job that the president has launched us on in this war. We are trying to fundamentally change Iran's calculus in the region and basically eliminate their ability to threaten their neighbors, to build ballistic missiles, to pursue a nuclear weapon, to support terrorist groups. That's a very difficult thing to accomplish. All Iran is trying to do is survive and maintain the ability to do all of those things I just listed, basically to threaten their neighbors. And the asymmetry of that is a problem for us. Yes, we can destroy a lot of their missiles. We can destroy a lot of their launchers. We can destroy their Navy and planes. But all they have to have is a few missiles, a few drones, and enough resources to continue to support their proxies in order to survive. That's why I thought this war was a mistake in the first place. The cost of it was going to be really, really high. And our ability to achieve actual meaningful results was just going to be too difficult. And I think the latest, the events from today of two of our planes being shot down, apparently, sort of points up the difficulty of that mission.
And listen, I recognize we don't know. We have to be very clear. We do not know what has happened to this second service member. Obviously, the hope is that they are alive, they will be recovered. If they are captured by the Iranians, which is clearly the goal of the Iranians, what is your concern for that service member and how that could be exploited in this war?
Yeah, well, two things. I mean, first of all, I want to make clear, I support our service members. I support our troops. And my thoughts and prayers are absolutely with the service members who are at risk and at danger every day, and particularly the one that has been lost after this plane was shot down. We need to support that. I mean, my feelings about the war don't change my incredible support for our service members. And we all need to be rooting and praying that he is returned home safely. But yeah, it fundamentally changes the equation. If the Iranians have an American service member hostage, that totally changes the negotiations. It gives them another leverage point, and makes it more difficult to resolve this conflict. And that's the other part of the problem with the president's approach on the war, and certainly his speech yesterday. What is it that we want exactly? He keeps talking about how Iran is begging for a deal. There's no evidence of that. But what would a negotiated settlement look like at this point? There's rumors that J.D. Vance is trying to negotiate some sort of brief ceasefire. But on what terms? The president has not made that clear, and that makes this all the more difficult to accomplish our objectives.
This demonstration of Iran's capabilities, and we've reported on this, but we're sort of seeing it in reality in the events of today. The president has said that this won't affect negotiations with Iran. He said, quote, "We're at war." He told NBC that. But I wonder if you think the events of today, the capabilities we're now seeing, if that's actually something, do you believe Trump, or do you think that Trump actually might use what has happened as a pretext to do something more, to maybe launch a ground invasion?
Sure. As a general rule, no one should believe Trump. I mean, he says things that are patently ridiculous on a day in and day out basis, and then contradicts them an hour later. And look, I personally think that's a vastly larger problem than some people seem to think, and why we never should have elected him in the first place. But particularly in a war, when he bounces all over the place about what he's trying to accomplish and what the actual factual reality is, that makes all of it more difficult to run our country, much less to be engaged in a war. But yeah, no, it does make it hard to figure what Trump is thinking in terms of negotiations if he thinks that this isn't going to change anything. Again, it points up the asymmetry here. What Iran just needs to do is have leverage points over it. And certainly if they're holding a U.S. service member hostage, I think that does change the equation, despite what the president has said about it.
Congressman Adam Smith, we thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks, Brianna.
Out front next, our breaking news continues. The downed U.S. aircraft shattering President Trump's claim.